return to my training.
This'll be a blast.
Can we stoke these embers into forest fires? Can we change our ending into something brighter as this glow fades to gray and this hope is lost to pain? Now we're scared of the dark, don't have a clue where we are. We were dancing in the fire, now we're ashes on the pyre. Scared of the dark, holding on to a spark. And I don't know how to say this when it feels like we're just chasing the flicker.
Don't worry, I got this.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Impatient? I'm not impatient.
Minions have spawned.
It seems
chances of survival are less than 0.
As expected.
I'm going.
First blood.
Fire in the hole. Righto! What do you mean it doesn't look the same?
An ally has been slain.
Where'd that bomb go? Impatient? I'm not impatient. Don't worry, I got Blow this joint.
An enemy has been slain.
What do you mean? This doesn't look safe?
An enemy has been slain.
Bomb go. Take cover.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Don't worry. I got this. Anyone got a patch?
An ally has been slain. What do you mean this doesn't look safe? An enemy do you mean this doesn't look safe?
Rampage. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Where'd that bomb go? Impatient? I'm not impatient. Anyone got a bat? Let's blow this joint.
Your team has destroyed a turret. An enemy has been slain.
Free double LP.
Is it double? Oh yeah, I guess it is double.
Should be, yeah. Should be. Is it
Nah.
not?
No, it's not, no, not double.
Because you got a C. What? How did you C? Should have been double. Whatever. 3 LP. At least you get to queue into your
Actual rule.
actual
Yeah.
role now. Yeah. The nice part is it's just you. It's just you and me. There's no second person.
Yeah, it didn't seem
You
like
get
many
special.
people overall signed up for this weekend, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know why. There are definitely less. Typically, at most, there will be like 1, maybe 2 blocks for the top lane academy that have only 1 student in them.
Yep.
But this time there's 3, 4, 5, and there's 10 blocks that only have 1 student.
Yeah, okay.
About probably like 40%. So what are we looking to play today? Just seeing how the draft shapes up or anything specifically in mind?
Ambessa, but Like, yeah, it's like Ambessa, but if like team needs AP, I play Gwen, but like there's so much fucking mages at the moment that like I never get my Gwen games anymore. That's why I'm trying to like pick up Ambessa, because I'm like I have to play AD top now.
Yeah, yeah. AP
Um,
top is way worse now.
yeah.
Ziggs bot.
Yeah. Well, I was like, I don't play ADC, man. And I'm like, I just want to wave clear and hope my team carries me, which is what happened.
Hey, for you win.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was shocked because you came in for coaching, you came in for Ambessa coaching, but then I looked at your sheet,
I know.
the champions you put down, and you didn't put down Ambessa, so I was like, huh.
I'm going through like a crisis because like I've tried to spam Inquisitor this season, and because that's what I did on Gwen last season. I was like, I just one trick Gwen, and I had good success. So I was like, I'll do the same thing this season with another champion. But like,
repeat, right?
yeah.
Okay.
But Ambessa has been like I had like a 10% win rate on Gwen last season with like 50 games, and I was like okay with it.
10%.
Yeah, but then it went up. By the end of the season, I had like a 58% win rate or something. So,
Okay.
but like it just took me a little bit to like pick up the champ, but I was like okay with it. But yeah, this then like trying to pick up Ambessa, it's like it just like I feel like I'm just like just going even all the time. Like people don't want to play it.
Yeah.
And then whenever I like whenever I want to fight, I feel like I just like hit the minion wave too much at the same time, and then I'm just like constantly pushed up in lane, and it's super awkward.
Yeah. Kinda see how that shapes up. I think one thing I'm noticing already is when I look at your room pages is I think Grasp is good. It's very stable, right? But I think if you're like maining Ambessa, you can get away with going more room pages, right? Because I feel like Grasp, it really shines when you're playing like team gameplay, like you're playing in pro and you're not that comfortable on the champion, and you know, because pro players, they have to spend like their games sparingly. They don't get the luxury of like playing 500 games of Ambessa only, right? They have to play like 50 games of Gnar, 50 games of Renekton, 50 games of Yorick, 20 games of Anivia top, you know, Syndra top, Zillion top, you know, like weird stuff now, especially, right? I played against the Lulu top today. And but when you made it, you can kind of get like bigger leads. So I think a lot of the times, I think maybe either A, looking into like Grasp domination or Electrocute or Conquer. I think I run mostly Electrocute currently. Like Electrocute is probably the route I run. I like the Electrocute, I like the Ignite. After they buffed her Q damage and they nerfed her ulti, I feel like she's quite strong as a laner. Like if you can get one good trade with Electrocute level 1 and you're running the Ignite, you can kill people level 2. With just like W, auto, Q, trigger the Electrocute proc again, right? And then Ignite.
A wolf has no mercy.
You're about to see my kryptonite. I can't beat Nasus. I think I'm like 0-10 against Nasus. I can't.
Really? Like on Ambessa and in general?
In general, he's like kryptonite.
I saw you debating the Gwen pick. I think Gwen would have been good here too.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's probably like objectively a better pick, but I think you know, whatever. Gonna get the game on the rest one. Let's say he's playing to the Jax instead of the Nasus. Maybe it's a Nasus jungle.
Nasus mid.
Yeah, maybe a Nasus mid and Mumu jungle. You're right. Jax top. I think against the Jax, do you want to try something new? Yeah. This is chill. First Jax, he's one of those champions that you can't do the level 1 thing as well because he'll just start E. So you kind of just need to be a little careful of him level 1. He's running that ignite, running that
I
what
thought
the
it's
same jungler.
Jax yesterday or
That
the day
jungler was in the game last game.
before.
Mhm.
And he just he ran me down with like lethal tempo at level 1 with Q. It's weird.
Yeah, have to be careful. It's really important to look at what rune he has. I'll let you focus now, but start items good, just play your game, and then we'll talk about it after.
Yeah.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Weaknesses can be exploited. I turn mine into strengths.
Minions have spawned.
Look, such wasted potential. My place in this world, I have earned it, bled for it.
First blood.
I fought. Your demise.
An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain.
I'm unrivaled. Medallas are loyal to our own. My children are my greatest strength and greatest weakness.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Enemy double kill.
We will end in death. To my ancestors. Such mediocrity. Through cunning, sweat, and steel, I shape my destiny. Everything is for my family's legacy.
An ally has been slain.
Beneath me! This was fuel for the bloodshed. To
An ally has been slain.
lava in your veins, shadows in your heart. I have known death since I was young. My grandfather made sure of it. A warrior, a mother. There is no difference.
An enemy has been slain.
Will be met with wrath. To those who underestimate me, I will prove you wrong.
An ally has been slain.
I will never stumble.
Enemy double kill. An enemy has been slain.
My spirit never dies. He knows, my son.
been slain.
There is no greater motivation than grief. My thief! This world is unforgiving.
Rampage. Shut down.
Remain centered. Desperation is the doorway to oblivion. Even pawns have a role to play. Earn our
An
peace.
ally has been slain. An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain. Shut down.
I take what I am owed.
Your turret has been destroyed.
My place in this world, I have earned it, bled for it.
Your turret has been destroyed.
I fought and won countless battles.
An enemy has been slain.
I am unrivaled.
Ally has been slain.
is strong. Your heart is weak. No enemy or ally will stand in my way. Perhaps there's time to sample the low points.
An ally has been slain. Enemy double kill.
Strength deepens with sacrifice, and I have given everything. Everything is for my family.
Your turret has been destroyed.
I would set the world ablaze to protect my family. Trust must be earned. Every word. I have known death since I was a child. My
Shut down.
Any enemy of mine is an enemy of my family. There is nothing.
bit of a somber game.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe not the most thrilling. Oh shit. Let me know when it's uploaded and then we can get started. Even though
Yeah.
a short game, you know, still lots of good learnings to have from it.
Yeah, I'd
Talk a
say
lot
that's
about.
like it's like pretty standard, honestly. So
Mhm.
I'm not even mad with it. It's like the games I lose
feel
look
like-
like that.
Exactly. What when you say it feels standard, right? You know, I understand you're saying the games that you lose look like that, but what aspects do you feel like are those things? You know what I mean? That make it feel like, oh, that's a classic loss. You know?
Like so like in lane, like I'm usually just like I don't get the wave under tower and I just can't like
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know, like I feel like the jungle like obviously that first one's on me, like I just misplayed, but like I get into that position where like the wave's frozen and the jungle is top and then I'm just like stuck and it happens like a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, if you get
Like
frozen on and you know the jungler's top, especially if you don't have a ward, there was a couple times there where you were frozen on, you don't know where the jungler is, and you don't have a ward, it can be really tough to get out of those types of situations. Right?
yeah, so that's like a standard thing that I notice across like most of my games. I just get like stuck in that position a lot.
And then how do you feel about like kind of like that when you're losing, like that early to mid game, like when you're transitioning to playing with your team more? Do you feel like there's anything there? You feel like it's common?
It's kind of hard to say that game because I was behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, playing from behind is a skill in and of itself, which is good because that means that there's stuff to work on, stuff to look at. Alrighty, let me get my epic pin. How long does it have on the upload?
At 27%, so 8 minutes left.
Do you have anything that you want to talk about the game outside of the review? How do you feel about the rune? I feel like it doesn't really shine that much versus the Jax. This is the
No,
or his E, right?
like I played the matchup in Clash the other day myself, like but opposite ends. Like I played Jackson to Ambessa,
Mhm.
and it felt unplayable, and they took Conqueror.
Yeah, Ambessa took Conquer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do think Conquer maybe might be a little better, especially like in this game because you're playing against a bunch of melees. You know, they have the Amumu, they have the Jax that game. I think both are fine. I think that Conquer might be a little more linear to use, easier to
Yeah.
get value out of. That's how I would say.
At the times I've used Conqueror top though, I feel like I'm proccing it, but the trade doesn't go long enough to like actually
Yeah.
use it.
I would say there's a handful of matchups I like it in. I like it into the Urgot. I like it sometimes into the set. I feel like it's good versus champions, so you can't really auto attack, but they're a little bit too tanky for electrocute to be good against.
Yeah.
So I really like it. You know, sometimes I'll go against the Jax. Sometimes I go Grasp. Sometimes I go Electrocute. I'd say probably usually going the Conquer. But then you know, good versus the Urgot. I like it versus Urgot. And then I would say it kind of depends a little bit on what champs I'm playing against, right? Sometimes I feel like, oh, you might get okay value out of Electrocute, but Conquer looks really good in the game. Kind of pushes me more towards Conquer, right? And that's
Yeah.
more about, okay, they have a bunch of melees. We're gonna fight for a long time. Maybe have I have an enchanter bot lane, maybe like a Seraphine or a Karma. It's gonna help me fight, stuff like that. Compared to maybe if I have like a Nautilus and they have a bunch of squishies that are immobile, maybe I'm going lethality. And I'm just playing to one shot, right? Going like an electrocute type of setup with that mindset. So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's not an Ambessa problem. Like, that game is like, yeah, it's probably like replicable across like all the champs I play. Like, I just get stuck in that position. Yeah.
a big thing about that is you're right. Like, it comes down to your wave crashes, right? You're not crashing the waves when you need to, and it's trapping you in pretty awkward positions. Now, I do think the first one, like, it was pretty similar, but the reality, I think that was just how you were fighting with your abilities more so than actually about the wave. But then there are a lot of times where you're not making the correct decision of you need to fast push or slow push and what
Yeah.
to do with the wave. And so sometimes because of that, you trap yourself. So yeah, I'll take a look at that when that finishes uploading. But I think generally a good rule is one, whenever you're deciding if you want to fast push or slow push, you can look at your mini map to see where your minions are.
Yeah.
And that tells you where the enemy minions are, right? And so that can kind of help dictate if you need to fast push or slow push. And I'll show you some of the situations in the game where that was the case and why it kind of blew up in your face. And then we will kind of talk about how you can fix that, as well as one big thing is how you use your Q in the lane. Okay, is going to be very important because she's just very Q reliant, right? They nerfed her ulti to make her Q stronger, especially in lane phase. So now more than ever, her Q is important. I mean, it was already very important, but now it's like her entire thing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of times where you're walking up and you kind of throw out your Q, right? And your Q whiffs, and then you have to just click back for 10 seconds, right? And so a lot of times you want to be holding your, and you were doing that in the game, right? You did level 1, you did a couple times when you need to crash your wave, right?
Yeah.
And what's happening there is you're not waiting for a time where they have to walk into you. So a lot of times what you want to do is you want to make them choose between either A, trying to stop you from freezing the wave, they're going to walk into the wave to try and hold it, or B, they try to walk up and go for a CS, right? Now obviously there's a little bit of jousting, is what we like to call it in the TLA, going on there where you're like he's clicking forward and then clicking back, you're spacing, right? You're clicking in and clicking out, he's clicking in, clicking out. So there's some spacing game happening there, but it makes it easier if you kind of anchor yourself to, okay, I'm looking to use my Q for these key moments, right? Where they're forced to get hit by it. Or I can just hold it until that moment shines, or I use it to get CS, right? So for example, level 1, instead of walking up, throwing out that Q, and then having to click back, you can just hold your Q, either A, if he tries to auto minion, boom, Q, and that's when you do it. Or B, let's say he doesn't go for an auto, y'all just both let the minions die, that's fine. Then you just Q all 3 of the minions, and you get more gold that way. Can you kind of, obviously we're not looking at the game right now, but hopefully you can kind of envision that in your head as a better scenario. And I'll show it off once we
Kind of funny. That was the Caitlyn that I laned against last game.
Caitlyn on your team.
No, like the enemy, like so when I played bot lane last game, it was the Caitlyn.
I see. That's funny. Yeah, autofill parity is quite nice. So now a lot of times you end up playing against people that are the same role. That's kind of funny. The jungler, your Rengar was someone in that game too.
He was the Kindred from the previous game,
yeah. Yeah. I recognized his IGN. Yeah.
But
Kind of interesting.
OP.GG gave me MVP on the Ziggs last game, even though I got a C.
I know. I think that the whole Asia system is like messed up. I don't think it's their ranking system of like you getting a C in that game. It's not. It doesn't track enough variables in the game to be an accurate representation of how well someone played. So I feel like judging someone and like giving them more or like reducing how much LP they lose based off of that is a not good metric. I just think it's kind of nearsighted from Riot. If they wanted to do that, they should have like updated that some functionality.
I think it's done now.
Alrighty, let's see. Yeah, we're good. Let me toss up a stream. And I will head on over. Toss up a stream so you can see it now. Right, we're good. Alright. So we talked about it in theory, but here, this is the queue that I'm talking about, this one right here, where boom, you walk in and you try to queue here, and obviously it feels like you're trying to queue on his melee, on the melee, but you have to understand as well that this queue kind of has some width to it, right? Like you can kind of see that the arc has like this radius, right, on the visual, Or if you're in between this range, then you're gonna hit the sweet spot. So you don't need to always hit like the max tipper. Now sometimes you kind of want to, like for example, maybe against like the Renekton, but a level 1 holding this Q for a little bit longer, letting the minions kind of subside. Maybe even if he clicks back here right after the auto attack, a lot of times you might be able to like sneak in a cheeky auto here. Against champions you might not normally be able to, that like normally get prio. And then because you're autoing, you know, they're gonna lose wave prio, so then they walk into you to push you off the minion, and that's when you Q. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So holding your Q definitely gonna benefit you a lot in these types of situations. I thought afterwards, oh, media playback. Oh no, nightmare. Okay. Sometimes we have some issues with Ascent, but looks like we're okay. So yeah, then to your next Q. This one I'm a little more okay with. You know, here. I think you probably could have got it just because he's kind of letting you, right? You can kind of see he's clicking away. So playing a little bit more with their body language and how you're using your Q, having a little more discipline with when you choose to use it in general. Here, it still kind of ends up being okay. You kind of like, but you can kind of see here, after you don't have Q, now you just have to click back, right? You lose all control. So especially when you're running this electrocute setup, it's really important to either A, just hold the Q. Like, don't feel too pressured to throw it out. It's kind of like Blitzcrank hook, right? You ever play against a Blitzcrank and they walk up and they whiff their Q? But if they just walk up and didn't shoot the hook out, then you feel way more pressure. There's way more tension in the scenario. So here, sometimes, it feels like you're taking 50-50s, right? Of throwing out a Q. Do you hit them or do you not hit them? But if you just don't use your Q, then it's in favor of you, right? Maybe it's like a 55-45, right? Where they're scared to walk up, and so you get a little more breathing room in the lane. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So don't feel too pressured to use it unless it's way more, you know, a little more confirmed. So here, then, you know, you get some nice autos. Honestly, I thought you got some nice autos. You got some good buffers here. For example, like this is a good trade, right? If you were against basically any champion that doesn't start with a J and end with an X, right? Who can crash the wave with his E at level 3, then you could probably just all in him and with your ignite, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you know, this is kind of where the electrocute shines. You can see how much damage you do on this trade, right? With your runes, you get shield bash here, which is 17 damage. You get electrocute, which is 58, and you get sudden impact, which is 23. So your runes are doing like 100 damage here on this trade, which is really nice. If you get one more trade like this, he's dead, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're looking out for. Really good against a lot of champions, but even still, he crashes the wave. That's the Jax thing. And now we have to be careful because now you're running into a situation where now you have to crash the wave. So immediately I'm thinking, do I need to ward? Now, you end up spotting the Amumu bot side right now. So you see you don't really need to ward, but it is a little bit scary to walk up here, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because you see your junglers right here, right? You know, we can kind of go back so it's more clear. But like you can see your jungle is entering Tri-Brush right now. So that means that the enemy jungler could be right here right now. So imagine enemy jungle is right here, then he's walking and he's walking. So now he's here in the Tri-Brush, and then you're in the Pixel Brush, and now you're walking this far up, right? Imagine if the Amumu just wrapped around behind you right now, right? You're probably dead. So for that reason, needing to be a little careful, a little more careful. But I think what makes it so hard and kind of traps this wave is that here you get stuck trading and fighting him when, and then because you trade a little bit, the wave pushes, right? You can see this is kind of what you alluded to before you got into the game. You trade right here, boom, E, you damage a lot of the minions, you Q, you damage the minions more, and then now, because of this, you now have to fast shove. Like you need to now, because you damage the wave so much, you need to immediately auto this minion, Q this minion, auto this minion, and shove, right? Or else you're gonna get trapped. So you need to kind of adjust. Okay, because I've damaged the wave, I could have slow pushed before. Now that's fine if you take this trade. I'm not saying don't take the trade. Like it's pretty okay, right? To force his E out, because now that his E is out, you can kind of slam the wave, right? But because you deviate, you just start auto attacking. You see you're not pressuring the wave at all. You lose sight of the fact that on this bounce, your pressure is to crash the wave, and then you get trapped here so long. Now, honestly, the Amumu can even kind of come back top at this point. He stayed bot for a really long time, so he doesn't. But even if a jungler did full clear top to bot, they could be, you know, base, kill the scuttle at 255, base, walk back top, do their Krugs. Oh, free kill on Ambessa, right? So you kind of see, you're probably not thinking about this, especially since Amumu is in this game and he's bot side, right? So it's not a big concern. But the big problem here is it traps you in a position where we've kind of talked about, you talked about it before, where you're trapped here, right? What can you do? And you just need to be more deliberate about how you're using your abilities in positions like this to then completely shove the wave, right? So here, now you're in an awkward position. This problem, though, is not here, right? I want you to understand that if you are even in this position, you want to look at what happened before, right? Which is why we looked at that wave and why I talked about how using your abilities in that moment is very key. And noticing that, you look at the minions on the map and you think, okay, going back here, okay, they're just spawning now. I'm taking a trade. Okay, the wave is chipped. I'm clicking back. I look at the minion on the minimap. They're really far. That means I need to shove this, because if I slow push it, what's going to happen? They're going to get closer. They're going to be here by the time I finish slow pushing it, right? So now you're going to get trapped. So that, hopefully you can kind of see that. So as we go forward, then you die here.
So like, if he like, even if I hard push here, and he like contests me for the freeze, like, what's my game plan then? If because I'm using my abilities to like clear the wave, obviously, so I'm gonna be like have nothing to sort of force him from freezing it up ahead.
So you're talking, so to talk about here, you can keep shoving because of one, he used the abilities, but now if you're talking about like in this moment where he has his E, this is just a little bit more about here, right? Like you're using your ability, right? You're using your Q here because you're thinking of pressuring him on the minion, but he doesn't need to walk up right now, right? Like look at the angle that he's walking up. So you just need, one, it's a little bit about being a little more disciplined with your ability, and two, kind of responding. Like here, I thought you did a good job with your W, but the only reason why he's able to walk up into you like this is because you already used your Q. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's kind of how you need to handle it, is just having a little bit better Q. Like you can see in this fight, you get this Q. Unfortunately, you miss this Q. I think honestly, you probably could have even just held your Q2, walked with him, and then Q flat, like Q2 flash autoed, right? You could have looked for that. It's a little risky, but I think the big thing is just here using your Q, right? It's very similar to the Q you use level 1, where now because you've used this Q, you don't have the pressure, right? So then we can kind of see now what goes wrong is that you E in here. You are in a winning position right now. You just need to wait for your Q cooldown to come back up. That's it.
Yeah.
So you just need to wait. Just wait 2 more seconds and then click in. Because if he E's right now, and then you have flash or counterplay, imagine if you had Q2 right now.
Yeah.
Right? You could have counterplay. But here, you E forward. And so here what I would like for you to do is just click auto the minions, hold your E so you can have more versatility, because you know he has flash. You know he's going to hop on you. He's going to look to ignite you, stuff like this. He's going to play for the kill to freeze it, right? So you just need to hold for your abilities, right? It's a little bit awkward because the Mumu can come back, right? So you're a little bit concerned. That's why, in general, the important part is that we're not, making the mistake here. So as we go forward into the game, now how do we recoup the situation? Now, it's a hard position to salvage. Here you kind of go for the Q. You go for the Q on these minions. He takes a big trade on you. You're kind of stuck in this position. And honestly, this is just a really hard spot to be in. There's not really a good solution here. You're doing your best, right? You're kind of waiting for your jungle to come top, your mid to come top to bail you out. Here, you get some good trades. And then here you're kind of able to walk back up once you hit 6. And you can see if no one comes top, that's what you do. You wait for yourself to hit 6, and then you're able to get a base off, right? By getting the crash in after you get a more advantaged position, right? So that's how you navigate once you're in that spot. Here, very similar thing, right? You're playing this bounce. I would say the big thing, though, that I've noticed is that if this guy is ever hopping on you, okay? This happens at this point in the lane, and it happens later in the lane. You can just W and dash backwards. Here, as soon as he's doing this, right, he is committing to some sort of trade.
Yeah.
There's no way Jax is ever going to Q on top of you and not trade you, right? That's a whole, he's on top of you, right? So if he's doing this, then just retaliate by immediately Wing, dashing backwards. So exactly like this click. You would have W'd already, dash backwards, and then you initiate the auto, right? So if you auto Q to him with after the W, right? That means that you're going to proc electrocute and you're going to win a trade. Agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he has to E it. He has to E the trade. Otherwise, he loses it. So then, if he E's the trade, what do? You just fully go backwards. W, like we said, you would already be Wing backwards. Then, if he's already Eing before you auto, you just Q backwards and then E backwards. And what does that mean? That means you've gotten out of his stun, right? And you've taken basically no damage, and he has taken your W AoE damage, your Q2 damage, and your E damage, right? So it's a winning trade for you. And if you do all that, if you hit all of it, you would also proc electrocute anyways. You see what I mean? So you're kind of forcing his hand by leading with W. You're telling him, okay, you're gonna lead with E, or I'm gonna take electrocute. And if you do lead with E, then I'm gonna dash away from you, right?
Yep.
Jax can never actually Q on top of you when you're even or slightly even if you have W up. The important dynamic in this matchup is that once you do use your W properly around these trade timers where he Qs on top of you, is now you have a cooldown gap, right? His Q is like a 9-second cooldown, somewhere around there. 8, maybe 10. But yours is 17, right?
Yeah.
Which means that you have to respect that gap. And that's where the matchup can get hard, okay? So you can kind of see this is a big deal in the matchup, is responding to these trades properly, right? Because you lose so much HP here, now it's even harder to play this crash out. You die, you get dove, he Qs on top of you. And now you just keep having to play this bounce, right? You've been stuck. We've literally been looking at your screen in this position where you're pressured to bounce for the past 6 minutes. And it all loops back to that one time at level 4 where you didn't properly fast push.
Yeah.
Right? The whole lane would look differently there. So that's really going to be a key thing, is looking at the wave when it's coming in and adjusting accordingly. So here, when you're in this position again, look what happens, right? He hops on top of you. What do? What do you do in the actual game? You E to get away from him. But no, immediately he Qs on top of you, W backwards. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Force his hand. So hopefully you can kind of see whenever they're taking a trade on you and the enemy champion is forcing on you, your first instinct should be to W. Now, I will say, against some champions where spacing is really important, you can lead with the E. One matchup, for example, is Volibear. He runs at you, and if he hits you, he stuns you. So forcing yourself to stand still with the W and kind of stand your ground is not good. You want to just E him and run away. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it depends a little bit on if you're okay with him being on top of you, but you can't stop Jax from queuing on top of you, right? So because of that, you just want to immediately retaliate, right? So seeing your ability as kind of like a retaliation tool, you're kind of like parrying his Q, right? Kind of like how Fiora parries stuff. It's very similar. So yeah, I think this was a big thing for me. Was one, how you're using your Q and W, like in general, the Q usage and timing it around better timers. 2, you're seeing your W as a retaliation tool, so W. So in general, your ability usage. And then 3, the more general thing was when you're choosing to push or not, right? So it's fast push / slow pushers, and deciding that. I would say these are the big things for the lane phase. So yeah, the next thing is that after this, you kind of recall, the wave's coming back into you, recall on a decent timer. Here, you fought to the death. I think it's just execution. Like, it's really not a bad time. It's just, you kind of throw out you kind of like, I feel like you get nervous.
Yeah.
But you do kill him. So first of all, there is the S cancel here. It does help you do a little more damage. So if you S cancel, are you familiar with it?
I haven't tried to like do it yet because I'm like, yeah, like do you S and then auto and then you just don't move forward?
Yeah. So you would get the auto out while he's stunned here, right? So it would mean that you would get the auto before he can E, right? So
Yeah.
it does add more damage. Against a lot of champions, it might not matter, but against Jax, it definitely does matter. I would say the next thing is that, yeah, I would just say this is slight execution, right? S cancel, he's able to get on top of you, and he's kind of closing his gap, and you don't get your Q too, is a big thing. Here, even if it means just throwing it out, right? Like, you end up getting stunned, you get stunned, maybe you flash the stun, you flash the Q, and then you get your Q out. But because you don't get your Q out, you lose this, right? That's the only reason why you lose. You can see here, even if it had tanked from the minions, yeah. There's not too much to talk about here. I actually think the ulti is good. It's just the execution of the champion really does matter, especially because you're down a level. Principally, we might talk about, you're down a level, but it's really good to punish him here for overstaying for this crash. But yeah, once you do die here, obviously you do get the kill back. I think your jungler kills. It's not the end of the world, but it does hurt you because, you don't get the gold, right? And he does. So now, again, we're stuck in this situation, and we kind of see, what does he do? He Qs on top of you, and you don't retaliate with your W. Boom. As soon as you see him like this, right? This is your sign to W. Just W, click here, auto, E, dash back, right?
Yep.
That's going to be your bread and butter to deal with these champions that hard engage on you. Whenever they do, you just W. At this point, you're trapped again. Just reset for your Eclipse. You're not going to break this freeze ever, right?
Yep.
Literally ever. He's up 2 levels. If you're ever in a position like this, kind of at this point in the game where you have your Eclipse completion, just reset. Fuck it. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Your lane's cooked, right? He's at Triforce. Just don't fight him, right? You don't even really try to fight him. It's just that you can't walk up anyways. But at the very least, if you get your Eclipse, you might have a chance of fighting back in that, right? But you're not, because you don't have Eclipse. You already lost some HP before. You just die. And you can kind of see as well here, very similar. You're just not getting much value out of your W in this lane phase in general. So then you die. And then I would say for the mid game, to kind of scope out the mid game, I thought you did some good jobs of timers of, you pushed here, then you moved to your team, then you moved back. So let's talk about this, okay? This is a big principle for mid game, especially on champions that don't have great slow vision, okay? So when you're playing top lane, okay? Mid game looks like this, okay? You're going to push and then move, or you're going to push and then split, okay? These are your 2 options, right? Ambessa is not really a split pusher, right?
Yep.
Doesn't take towers quickly, so you're mostly going to be pushing and moving, but you need to decide when to push and when to move, okay? So here, the wave's right next to you, safe to push, right? Now, do you move or not? Now, for me, I would say, what are we looking at when we're moving? 1, is there a dragon to move to? Is there an objective to move to that my team's fighting over? 2, is my team fighting for mid wave? And is there a commotion at it? These are the 2 big things, right? So dragon / objectives, mid waves, and just in general a fight, right? But also we want to look at even kind of step 0. Can I push the next wave, right? Can I keep pushing? This is kind of the step 0. Keep pushing. If yes, just keep pushing unless you have a reason to go, like a dragon or objective, right? You can kind of see when you move here, your team is not fighting mid right now, right? And this top wave is still really close to you, right?
Yeah.
So here I would like you to keep pushing. So here you come back, you keep pushing, you kind of realize, oh, I can access this wave. This is good. Now you don't feel safe anymore. So what do? We recall. We walk out mid. This is good. I like this. You're using your move. You can kind of see here, you overstay just a little bit. Here, what I would say is, at this point, nothing's happening. I would just go back top, right? There's not the Jhin and Seraphine are clearly clicking back, so you can kind of gauge. Okay, they're clicking away. I'm just gonna go back top. You do it, which is fine anyways, but maybe a little earlier is better. Hopefully, you can kind of see going forward the metrics you use of, okay, the wave is coming back into me. The Jax is pushing it back, so now I'm just gonna reset and kind of return. Okay, so then here is a little bit different, right? You push this wave, and then your Jax moved. And so you're kind of marking him. You're kind of covering his move. And you're here for a good timer. So here I like this play because even though there's a wave to access, there is a mid fight that's going to happen. And you're kind of following the Jax, right? From behind. So here's a good timer where it's good, right?
Yep.
Because even you're kind of choosing, all right, the Jax is overextended. My team is looking for commotion, and we are able to fight as a unit, right? We're fighting as a team. That's why it's good, right? Your jungle's there. Now, even if the play doesn't, shape up super great for y'all, there's still some pros to it, right? Maybe we dove too hard. Maybe we could just leave after killing the Jax on the ulti. Maybe we go on to the Seraphine, right? But overall, I think the big thing here is you just needed to kill the... I think you just needed to ignite the Amumu and slam your abilities on the Amumu with your team. kind of heals up a lot here, I guess, from the Seraphine plus maybe he's running Conquer. It's a little bit of fight selection, target selection. Sometimes it's good to focus the Enchanter, but other times it's better to just like burst down the main target, even especially as a bursty champion, right? Then
Yep.
you base, you go top. I'm good with this again. Here, you move mid. I'm good with this move. The problem is you'll just kind of get caught fighting for too long. Here, it really just needs to be like an E, an ulti in, kill the Jhin, and leave immediately, right? But y'all keep fighting the Amumu. And you can kind of see, this is the crux. You'll kill the Amumu, but now y'all are stuck between the Nasus and the Jax TP, right? So, overall, I actually think this move is good. I think the problem just lies where now you kind of keep going mid, and this timer is not good to fight mid because there's just not really a reason, right? The enemy team is only going to turn around and fight you if they're going to beat you, right?
Yeah.
So here, they turn, and they turn because Amumu is now here to hit some CC. They hit the CC with the Seraphine ulti, they turn, and it just doesn't matter, right? So I would say, in general, in side lane, you can kind of see your CS has dropped to 5 a minute. Just need to focus more on catching the side waves first. Catching sides, and then moving. In general, I thought a lot of the moves were okay, but it's just a little bit too much commotion, right? When you're behind, you still want to do your best of catching your gold, catching the side waves, and catching back up in the game, right? And I think you're not doing that nearly enough. And also, you're just really far behind because of how the lane went. So I think you're good to queue up. We can talk about if you have any questions or anything like that for the next game, or any questions about what we talked about. But I would say going into the next game, really focus on, one, how you're using your abilities around the enemy champion, and if they're, walking up for minions, stuff like that. Making sure you're using your trading tools, like if, it's like Gwenny, right? If the Jax hops on top of you, you E back, and making sure you're using your tools. And making sure you're not overcooking in the game.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No, that's good. Yeah. Definitely pointed out some stuff that I've had questions for already, so.
Yeah. I would say the biggest thing is just when you're choosing to push the waves with your abilities, deciding, okay, I need to fast push this wave, so I'm going to keep pushing the wave. And then how you're using your abilities. It's a lot about that. Like how you're using your abilities on the wave, how you're using abilities, make sure you're not using them when they aren't walking into you, and then how you're using your abilities when you're trading.
Yep.
So a lot of ability usage discussion.
Yeah, I guess I still have like I guess I feel like I have more of a Gwen mindset still to the champion. Where I'm just like fishing Qs for poke.
Yeah, you can fish Qs for poke, but like you can use your Q as a poking tool, which is true, and it's good on Gwen, it's good on Ambessa, but the punish is so much higher, right? Because Ambessa, first of all, Gwen's Q cooldown is like almost half.
Yeah.
And also, Gwen's Q, even if it's not up, you still build pressure because you're stacking it, right? So if they fight you, unless your Q is coming up in 2 seconds, you can just keep walking at them, and then get the Q off again anyway. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Ambessa, yes, you can keep walking with them if your Q's coming up in 2 seconds, but a lot of the times your Q has such a long cooldown, 14 seconds, that you might die doing that, or you lose so much HP that it's not even worth it anyways, right? So you need to be a little more diligent about holding that Q more in the Ambessa than the Gwen, right? The Gwen can kind of get away with it, especially later in levels, like level 6, 7, 8, 9 in a lane, because then you can just throw down ulti and force them into the long fight that you do win, right? Whereas Ambessa doesn't really win those situations. So. Yes. That counter matchup. I will let you lock in.
I cry.
Yeah, mostly just about, being careful, playing with your team. When you're playing counter matchups, actually, this is a great idea, a great example. Counter matchups are all about waves. If you get trapped in a counter matchup like you just did, you are cooked, right?
Yeah.
So it's a great actually game because now you have to hard focus on the waves because a lot of the interactions are going to be losing, especially post 6. So you need to make sure you're playing those waves, you're playing those wave crashes, and you're trading with it with relation to those waves. So I'll let you focus and I'll
Strange,
mute up.
wonderful world. I must make sure it stays that way.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Oh, what to do?
Minions have spawned.
Seeing my dress twirl reminds me to smile. Here's a certain trick. Onward.
First blood. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
The black mist won't hurt anyone. I promise. Still can't believe I get to move my hands and feet all on my own.
An ally has been slain.
Frighten me.
An ally has been slain.
Cheer me up. Oh, joy! Don't waste a minute. Pieces! The wind at my back feels so good. I can't lose this. I won't. No loose threads. there to see this. See me. Isolde, wherever you are, I know you belong. Bits of fabric can become something beautiful. My work here can do just the same. What happens next, I get to decide. No one said life would be easy. That is its charm, to be sure.
An enemy has been slain. Enemy killing. Has been slain. An ally has been slain. Shut down.
Are those mountains beyond the cliffs? I've always wished to see one up close. A great day to fight! This certainly brings out the best. Wouldn't be fair if I didn't present my best.
Ally has been slain.
I remember when she sewed my dress with these scissors. Now they cut a different cloth. It's called the Hallowed Mist, but how it feels matters more. Warm, safe, like nothing can hurt me. These turrets are strong. It'll be quite fun cutting them down. I'm even hold back.
Enemy rampage. Shut down.
Means something.
You have slain an enemy.
No time like the present. Off we go, scissors.
An ally has been slain.
Are those mountains beyond the cliffs? I've always wished to see one up close.
Enemy killing spree.
I certainly endured far worse than this.
An ally has been slain.
I will experience everything like I never could before. The struggle is worth it. I'll break as many needles as it takes. I'll make sure my allies feel the joy they deserve.
Your turret has been destroyed. Your turret has been destroyed.
I must hurry if I am to win.
Enemy killing spree. Enemy rampage. slain.
I thought
An enemy is unstoppable.
they're trying to stop me. They can keep on trying. Whatever it takes.
Enemy rampage.
The memories I stitch here will be my own.
An enemy is unstoppable.
This is better than a dream. It's real. And I won't ever forget it. What to do?
Your team has destroyed the turret. An enemy is unstoppable. An enemy is dominating.
Reminds
Your
me.
turret has been destroyed.
Maybe the world is better without the war. I run with scissors. Pleasure. Have fun.
Braves chaos.
Godlike.
This place certainly brings out the fight in everyone. Wouldn't be fair if I didn't present my best.
Your turret has been destroyed. Your turret has been destroyed.
Now they're at a different drop.
executed. An ally has been slain.
The black has been destroyed. I promise.
Well,
Definitely a bummer of a game. Gen kind of ending, Rek'Sai taking some bad stuff. But there's good learnings from this one. I like how you were playing around your wave, and I thought you did a really good job playing around your champions, like the isolated 1v1 reference points. You did a good job at getting the wave where you wanted it to be, and then you kept him there for a really long time. He made mistakes, and then boom, you got kills, you got CS leads. So I thought you did a really good job implementing some of those things. Obviously, your team kind of ran it down. There was a disastrous Grubs fight that we'll talk about in detail.
yeah.
You know, but there's still a lot of good stuff there, right? Even if we didn't really get to look at the mid late game, which is unfortunate. There's not too much to talk about there. Your team was so losing that you couldn't really play mid game normally.
Yeah.
But still, in general, like the push move principles are still going to apply. It's very similar. But what I really want you to take away from this game is that one, can't win every game. That's okay. You could lose. But also, sometimes your team, sometimes when you're looking to improve, okay, when you're looking to get better at the game, it's kind of good to see your teammates sometimes as impatient children, okay? Because they don't know what's best for them sometimes, and you need to let them know what's best for them sometimes. Like they need to eat their vegetables first, okay? And the way we implement that is we start instilling habits and we work on creating this framework of how we want to win the game. What does winning look like for you, right? So you know this. What does winning look like as Gwen in lane? Let's talk about that a little bit. What does Gwen want?
Go even her head, basically.
Okay.
Goosebump.
And when you're actually like fighting them 1v1, okay? Let's say, what are you looking for in the 1v1? Like, what are you looking to do with your wave? What types of, either A trades, or how do you want to fight them? Right, let's talk about that.
Well, I mean, Garen's a bit of a weird one, because, like, you can't really poke him, I feel like, because he just AFKs and then just regens it back up. So, I mean, like, I either just want to, like, stay high HP and then, like, look to all in at 6 when I have ult. But, like, most of the time, I feel like it's, like, playing around my W and then just Q poking them down when they walk up for CS, yeah.
So you're kind of, in general, the Gwen playbook is kind of like, when you can, poke them down with Q, get wave crashes, get your wave and close to your tower, and then you can run them down with ulti at 6, right? That's how you kill them, right? I thought you did a really good job of accomplishing your isolated goals. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to expand that from lane, okay, to now. How do we start implementing this mindset towards the rest of the game, right? How do we win? How do we create this idea of how we want to win the game, right? So what this all comes to is that grub fight, right? You're going to this grub fight, and your wave is pushing out, so you're gonna get frozen on. You're gonna lose a bunch of minions, and you don't have ulti because you just killed the Garen, right? You literally just killed a counter matchup. You're up like 20, 30, 40 CS, and now you're running into your death, right? Which ends up being a bad fight, and it's pretty it's really game ending. Like all 5 of you die, right?
Yeah.
On that grub fight, it's absolutely disaster. Now obviously I don't even think the gen should be there. The game was gonna be hard anyways, but what I want you to identify is that you didn't want to fight there, right? But to me, when I watched you play, you didn't communicate that to your team at all. And so I want you to, one, work on that framework of, okay, what does winning look like to me? Winning typically looks like, for almost all champions, okay, it's going to be like fighting with your ulti. When you're fighting like those early lane phase fights, skirmishes, your wave is shoved. And if you can't shove the wave, that's okay. Maybe you won't be able to shove the wave, but deciding if the fight is if the fight is good, then I go to the fight. It's okay to lose some of the minions if the fight's good. But if the fight's bad and your minion wave is bad, then you don't go. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
You can kind of keep establish these checkboxes of, okay, what does good look like to me? You already have those checkboxes set for lane phase, right? That's your champ mastery, which is really good. Now what I want you to work on, we talked about how to achieve this with the wave states from the first game, but now we want to talk about this mid-game, some of these mid-game concepts. Even if that was an early game lane phase fight, you can implement this towards mid-game too, where it's like, okay, if I don't have ulti, I'm not going to look to go for something, right? I'm going to look to stay in my side lane. I'm going to keep pushing. Or if I am going to move, I'm going to be more reserved with how I fight, right? I'm not really looking for a fight. If a good fight happens, I'll take it. But I'm not going to look actively for a fight, right? Because I don't have the tools for a good fight. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's really important to have this idea, because to have these ideas of how you want to play, because you're playing in a game where everyone is in your rank, right? And so everyone has the same kind of limited capacity of ideas as you do, right? Because, so trusting them is not going to get you anywhere, right? It's going to get you in the same rank. And so obviously, my job is to help you get better. So it's important to establish your own ideas, trust them. So establishing trust in yourself, your ideas, your vision of the game, implementing them, and almost like overriding your teammates' opinions sometimes. Oh, my only wants to do that? No, we're not doing that, right? It's bad. Why is it bad? He has no ult. I have no ult. He's half HP. It's 5v4. It's bad, right? So you give it up. You kind of override their opinion. And sometimes it can be a learning experience. Sometimes you make the wrong call. That's okay. Then you learned, why was that the wrong call? But at the very least, you can trust yourself in knowing, all right, I didn't want to fight there and I didn't fight there. That's good. So for example, I feel like when you fought that grub fight, you didn't really want to fight it. Your heart wasn't in it, right?
Yeah.
Because of the way you were looking at the mini wave, you didn't have ulti. It's bad for you. It's just bad for you, right? It's just bad, right? But communicating that to your team and actually following through with that, at the very least, will help over the course of like 10, 20, 50, 100 games. It's going to shape this. It's going to shape you as a player, and it's going to allow you to trust yourself more and improve upon those kind of gameplay patterns. So then you're making those better decisions, and then you're winning more, right? You're not falling into the traps that your team is setting up for you, where they're making bad decisions, and that's going to enable you to kind of push above your current rank, right? Push above the Emerald Oolong.
Yeah.
That is what it is, right?
I actually thought we were going to like, I don't know. I thought we had like a numbers advantage, so I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was.
Yeah. And on some champions, it's not. Like Ambessa, for example, without her ulti, not as big of a deal, right? They've still has a lot of power in her kit. But something like Kennen, like Gwen a little bit less so than Kennen, but like you can see like there's a spectrum of, yeah, numbers advantage does matter, but it still does matter what your champions are good at. I think that one aspect that I want to talk about is how we fought that fight. I think there is something to be learned about how you fought the fight.
Yeah.
I think could be improved upon. But one thing you could do is in situations like that where you think the fight is good, you have the numbers advantage, you still want to fight. Okay, that's good. But you can kind of like go a little bit in between, right? My wave is bad. Tell your team to play it slow, like ping them back. Ping that you want to push your wave, then ping that you want to go help your team, right? So you kind of like establish this order of operations that you're going to work in. So you can make sure that you're still happy with your wave. You're not losing a bunch of minions. So the play, if it goes bad, it's not like game losing. And you're communicating this like picture to your team, right? So then they can like maybe click back. The Rek'Sai like holds her tunnel. Maybe she tunnels out of the pit and then she waits. Then you come in and then she takes her tunnel back into the pit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hopefully you kind of envision that. We'll hopefully when the VOD uploads, I'll be able to show you, a little more in detail some of those things. But yeah, we've already talked a lot.
It just
But I
finished.
do
then.
want to
Yeah.
show those specific moments because I think they're actually quite nice to look at. Pull this up. Share my screen. Okay. So, cool. Okay, so here, early laning I thought was overall good. You got wave push because he gave it to you. He didn't go. He went storm surge, so he's not playing like Conqueror. He doesn't go E start. I thought you did a good job. You get wave crash here. He's full HP, so you kind of tell yourself, all right, I don't think we can kill him. That's fine. I like that you go for this ward. Your jungler's here. Maybe you can get something. You end up pushing him off. He just storm surges away, but that's okay. Now you get a really good freeze, and your jungle chunked him, right? So now you're kind of able to pressure him really heavily here. I thought this was all good. I think here, if you're, yeah, I think everything is good. You hold the freeze. Here, you end up staying on this timer, okay? And it's a little bit, obviously you can crash it. There's a lot of options you have here. I'm okay with you kind of holding it and freezing it. This is fine too. Especially because you can't really buy anything good. Doesn't feel very good to base because you're, what are you buying? A dagger and a moat?
Yeah.
Kind of like garage sale inventory, right? So we don't really want that. So I do like what you do with the wave here, but on a lot of other champions, since you see him recalling, one, you could go cancel him. You can kind of pull a wave and cancel him. Want to establish the options. I think what you did here is okay, but it's really only okay because of the specific champion and how you're not really getting a good base. But ideally, you don't really want to be in this lane at this HP because even when he comes back, right, you can see you're still at like 65% HP. It's not great, right? So taking the base there, you did it later in the game where you trimmed the wave and then recalled. I don't know if you remember that play specifically, but
Yeah.
here is where you kill him, which I thought you did a really good job. And this is where you take the recall. Here though, I guess your concern is you don't know where the Wukong is, right? We can kind of spot the last time we see him, but generally speaking, here you see the Wukong on the dragon, and then he's dead, right? Because you know the Wukong is dead. I think either are okay, to be honest. Ideally, if you can crash the wave, I don't hate the call though. But it gets a little dicey because you can see here the melees kind of crash, but overall it's good, right? But then you come back, right? And your whole team is pinging this play, which is bad. How does your Jhin get mid, by the way?
I don't know. I was wondering the same thing
Your
when
Jhin,
I thought it was
Oh, I
Swain the
see.
whole time.
I see. So your Jhin ADC takes over mid because he dies first while Aurora still bot. So Aurora takes the bot wave, then he takes the mid wave. And then the idea is that he should go back bot now, but because y'all are fighting Herald, he decides to stay. Okay. So, key things to point out here is y'all don't have Aurora ult, and you don't have ulti. So one, you think this is a good fight, right? 4v2 kind of. Yasuo's coming in
Yeah.
4v3. You think your Jhin is like, I don't even know what your Jhin is, but he's just here. But I think the big thing is like just hit
What
with
is
your
this?
team more here. Yeah, just
Yeah.
hit closest target. Like here, for example, your team all clicks back, right? Like fight with your team here. You get kind of stuck on this situation. Like use your tools, right? Maybe you can flash this EQ. I mean, just look out. First of all, fight with your team more and look out for key things, right? I think the key thing to me here is whatever you want to do. I want to play around the Yasuo NATO because I don't know if he has ulti or not. To me, it kind of feels like the Wukong doesn't have ulti the way he's fighting. Like why does he not ulti the Jhin? He doesn't ulti here when he goes on the Rek'Sai. Like, so now I've kind of mentally shifted. Okay, I'm not playing around the Wukong ulti, so I'm playing around the Garen ulti, who it looks like my Rek'Sai is about to die to, and the Yasuo ulti, right?
Yeah.
So here, imagine if instead of hitting this guy, you just Q flashed the Garen, right, and walked up, right? If you just you see what I mean? Like playing more to your team here.
Yeah.
Your team is very ability reliant, right? So as soon as Aurora uses QE, does she do any more damage with her autos? No, not really, right? So here you want to play around with your team and just what they're good at, right? So your team's pretty bursty. You do consistent damage, but you don't have your ulti, right? So you're not really able to fulfill that job very well.
Yep.
Of like a lot of consistent damage. But Yasuo is really good at doing consistent damage. She has 6 lethal tempo stacks, right? So understanding part of how you fight is identifying, okay, how do these champions want to fight? Lethal tempo user, who has ulti, stuff like this, and then just playing around it. So here, I actually think this fight could have turned out maybe okay if you just Q flash this Garen and then walked up, right?
Yeah.
He ends up dying anyways. But at the very least, you'd be with your team, right? Maybe you dodge this Q and doing so. It's just, you're just standing on top of the one guy you can't stand on top of, really.
Yeah.
Because he does so much consistent damage, right? And that's why this fight ends up being so bad. You also end up, I thought this was funny, I watched this. You flash right into her E.
Yeah.
She kills you. Which is kind of sad. And then they just clean up, right? Because now it's a 3v2. So even though it was a numbers advantage, you didn't really fight like it was a numbers advantage, right? If you watch how you actually fought, right? Look at how the fights actually get dissected, right? Jin's not really able to do anything right now. Okay? You're not doing anything right now. So it's kind of a 3v3, right? It's really a 2v1 on the Jin right now, and he loses 30% of the HP, okay? So now the fight started. So Jin's 2v1, okay? And now Jin's clicking out at 60% HP. And now Rek'Sai is clicking in, and he's 1v2, okay? And now he's ulting. And now you're 2v3ing, because Aurora misses her abilities, and she doesn't have any abilities from earlier, because she used it, when they first entered. And so now you can kind of create a situation where maybe you're like 3v1ing Garen, right? You walk in, Jin shots, Aurora's autoing, boom, right? But then instead, because you keep fighting, look what happens. Now you're kind of fighting a 1v2, right? So even if you have a numbers advantage, okay, even if you're fighting 4v3 or whatever, it's still important to navigate the fight so that it doesn't end up in clumps like this, right? Where it's a small 1v2 here, and then, so you need to fight on a united front. Does that make sense? When you're taking these types of skirmishes.
Yep.
The other thing is, yeah, like the wave here ends up being pretty bad for you. You can just tell your team to play slow. I think your Jin staying is not your job to communicate, to be honest. Like, it's kind of troll from him. But you could just danger ping and ping that you're pushing the wave. Ping, spam, danger. You ping, you're on your way. It's okay to fight, but the fight has to be winning. It has to be quick, right?
Yeah.
And so here, even if you like I said, if you just Q flash this Garen and then walk up to your top wave, I'm okay with that. Screw the grubs. We've lost this. I mean, maybe even there's a way to navigate it where you can keep taking the grubs, get 1 or 2 or something, walk it off, right? But at the very least, you'd be like walking in the direction of your tower. You'd be playing with your team. You see what I'm saying? So I think the fight itself, I don't have a massive problem with, because you're right, you are 4v3. There's a way to navigate it. It's just y'all don't navigate it very well.
Yep.
Right. So hopefully you can kind of see how we want to fight that better next time. So now he crashes the wave. You kind of get chunked. That's okay. You push this. Boom. Take this item. Very happy. And so I thought this was all good. I thought you choosing to come back, then immediately just, he just does his thing. Then you fast push, and then you recall. You get your item. This is all good. This is kind of just trade of waves, right? And you're pretty happy now, right? You have completed item, and now you get another kill on him. So really good. I feel like you've done a really good job in the isolated 1v1. He has counter pick. He's down CS. He's down 30 CS. He's down plates in the matchup, and you've solo killed him twice. I would say you won the matchup.
Yep.
But you did a good job with the wave, understanding your reference points, and when to fight. I think here you could have taken another plate, pushed another wave in this specific moment. You can get more, right? Be a little more greedy. Because here, as soon as you're hitting this plate, I'm already a little bit concerned about Wukong, right? I'm not sure when the last time you saw him was, but I was thinking about it. Yeah, you see him here now. So you know he's bot side going into this play. But you don't really know, did he recall? He's coming top, stuff like that, right? But now you see him again, right? As soon as you see him, like, you could probably agree, but it's okay, right? I like the tabbies, though. I think the tabbies are really good. I was hoping you weren't going to buy Magic Pen boots, right? They're 480. Was really devious, but yeah. So goodbye on the tabbies. Here, just playing slow, not much you can do, right? The wave's coming in, you're holding the freeze, you're pinging danger on the Herald. I thought that was fine. Here, I thought you were a little hasty. Don't have nearly enough lane to work with here. Remember, when it was good, you were right here. That was like the ideal situation. But here, it's just a little bit too close to his tower. He's kind of just able to kite you out. Like, I was kind of shocked at this point you popped the E ult. I think maybe if you tag him with that ER1, maybe, but it's still pretty tough, right?
Yeah.
So he walks off. And then the problem is that you don't recognize my team just died at Herald, right? How do they die at Herald? To Yasuo and Wukong. And then you just walk up and die, right? And this ends up being really brutal because now you lose a whole tower, right? So obviously it's not your fault your team dies at the Herald. But it's your fault how you respond to the fact that you know Wukong and Yasuo are here, right? And obviously I think part of you is thinking, well, my teammates both died. Surely they don't both have flash. And then they kind of do this, where Yasuo flashes on you, and then Wukong, you know, like,
Yeah, I don't know. I think I was just a
probably
little
don't
mentally
think that's
checked
gonna
out
happen.
pressing tab and seeing the Jin.
yeah, he's like
Yeah.
0-8 or something. Like, he's
Yeah.
absolutely printing it. So I definitely get it. I saw you kind of like threw the FF vote to Narnia, but yeah. And honestly, this is one of those games where there's not too much where it feels good to look at. Like, at this point, I feel like the game is kind of cooked. So, you know, at this point, you kind of take the tower. This is all good. I think the best you can do is just communicate to your team that, like, all you need to do is get gold, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, just avoid any fights. But honestly, like, they have soul and a dragon. Like, the game's just lost, to be honest. Like, it's, you know, they have 4 extra kills. The Gwen's one shot. The Vayne's 3 items. You're 1.5. Right? Like,
Yeah.
it's hard. So I would say there's not too much to look at here, but hopefully, a lot of what we talked about before the VOD started, but also after, is, you know, establishing a picture of how you want to play and communicating this to your team and actually playing it through the entire way. I thought you did a really good job in the 1v1, actually. I thought the 1v1 was really good. So you played around your reference points well. You got good kills. Just working on, you know, making this picture for the early mid game when you do and don't want to fight. And you can take some of these things I'm talking about, where it's like this framework of how you want to play the early game and the late early game.
Yeah.
And you can implement like the not fighting with ulti stuff. I talked about how, you know, you can push waves in the mid game and move and then be fight adverse because you don't have your ulti, right? But you're still moving, you're still doing your job of pushing and moving and creating pressure, but you're not actively looking for a fight, and you're communicating this to your team. So even though you might have a game like this where maybe there's not as much to learn, you know, it might not feel as good, there's still good takeaways like how you're playing with your wave, what fights you're taking, and making sure you're taking good fights for you.
Yep.
So yeah, I think, do you have any questions?
Not really. It was, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty obvious where that game went wrong. So
Yeah. All right, well, I'll just let you into your next game.
yeah.
Yeah. Some rough ones. Hopefully this one a little better. Hope you don't get a griefer. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Gwen this season is just not it either, it feels like.
Yeah, I think she has her bright spots, but I definitely think as a blind pick, she's not what she was. I think her getting reshaped back to being like a scaling champion just made her less good blind.
Yeah.
You know, she's just really good as a counter pick, right? She's good when you don't have AP damage. She's good when you're playing into a tank. And because she's so good in those situations, she has to be bad more generally, right?
Yeah.
That's just how design works. So, yeah, it can feel pretty bad. I also think that she's a champion that likes time in the game. She likes to kind of have some build up. She doesn't like for the game to be too fast.
Yeah.
And so when the game is too fast like that, you don't really have many options, right? You're pretty weak without your ulti early game. You need time to scale if you want to fight without your ulti. And now that you don't get prio as easily level 1, you have a harder time. So yeah.
Is you main Ambessa, yeah? Or you play a lot of
Yeah.
Ambessa? Yeah.
She's definitely my main. I have the most fun playing her, so I play her the most.
Yeah.
She's also a generally good blind pick, so I find that my time into her is rewarded because compared to other champions. Like I used to play like Camille. I feel
Yeah.
like my time in Camille is just not very rewarded. Because just like if I play better on like Ambessa or Renekton or a lot of these champions, like I get rewarded very clearly. But on Camille, it's like I have to play better to go even. That doesn't feel very good.
Yeah.
And if I want to be ahead, I need to play like the Super Goat, which not every game can you play like the Super Goat, right? Also, she's countered really easily. She's just better off as a support nowadays, unfortunately. Yeah, seeing her be like pick her ban and pro right now, going Halo Blade support. I don't know if you watch any pro, but
Yeah.
Halo Blade support, it's a disaster.
I see it in my games, except 90% of the time they're like 2-11.
Yeah, I mean they're doing work in the game, whether it's good or bad is.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
normally they get like the level 1 cheese kill and then it's all over from there.
It's all downhill. Yeah, that's how I feel about the champion too. Like, I feel like you have to be really good at it, and I feel like even the good players on it, like, it's one of those things where even you see like players like Keria, they mess up one hook shot and the game goes entirely wrong.
Yeah.
Like they hook shot in when they shouldn't, and the game just ends there, and it's like, ooh, like, I don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
know what they
if you're
could
able to
change in
play,
the champ.
Yeah, I mean, they need to. I mean, first of all, there's two things that hurt her. One, the durability patch, season 12 hurt really bad. I think it was season 12 because it made it so that even squishy targets like the marksman and the control mages, even if they didn't build HP, they needed an extra Q rotation to kill.
Yeah.
Which, for a lot of champions, wasn't a big deal, right? Like, for example, if Ambessa existed back there, it would be kind of similar. But there were a lot of champions where you would kill people the same way, but on Camille, it was quite a substantial difference. Also, the wall was going away, really hurt her top lane,
Yeah.
like really bad. And they've tried putting a bunch of power on her Q and her W and her shield to compensate, but it's just too hard to play a lane where the laners are so strong and you only have two abilities, Q and W, that aren't even that strong. Like Q can be pretty strong with King and Triforce and stuff, but like it's not strong enough to outweigh entire kits like Volibear kit or Renekton kit, or it's just too much power. Your ulti doesn't do anything, like in 1v1 really. And they tried adding the E thing, the E attack speed, which is like pretty nice situationally, but yeah, that's a design question that the answer to is unknown.
I didn't think Ambessa was gonna get banned for me in Clash the other week either. She got banned every game. Quite annoying. Like I didn't even have a positive win rate on her either. I think I was like 48%, and she was still getting
Yeah,
banned.
even if it's like your most played,
Yeah.
we'll just ban it to get you off comfort.
I think it's just because like when I play with my friends, they're all gold and plat, and like my
yeah.
jungle friend who's plat, he had like a 70% win rate on Siobhan, a 70% Wukong, but like he didn't even get to cop a single ban in Clash, and I was like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah. That's the price you pay of being better than your friends, right?
Yeah.
Gotta be the carry and you get target banned.
I am currently 0-7 versus champion this season.
A wolf has no mercy.
Versus set.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this matchup, I think this setup is good. You're gonna play. The reference points is that you want short trades and you don't want long trades, right? And
Yeah.
you need to be careful of his E. So playing around that. Again, it's playing the wave game, right? Champion is a lot about wave and strength of positions. Yeah. He's running the ignite. Making note of that, not
Yeah.
giving him that lethal. being scared, level 1. You know, if he starts E or W, it's good to know. And then, yeah, I'll just let you play your game. I would just not go shield, is what I would go. Either of the
Yeah.
other two are fine.
Stand that fight. Adanas do not suffer the
I like it.
useless.
Yeah, I'll let you walk in.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Minions have spawned.
Through cunning, sweat, and steel, I shape my destiny. Eno, my son, you were a fool. You think yourself my uncle? Ah! Ha, ha, ha. Me. My children are my greatest strength and greatest weakness. A warrior, a mother. There is no difference. Like deep. Even horns have a road. You have no fight. I am unrivaled. I've fought and won countless battles. I will live to see tomorrow. I have known death since I was a child. My grandfather made sure of it. place in this world. I have earned it. Led for it.
An ally has been slain.
Standing my than grief.
An enemy has been slain.
Mercy is foolish. We do what we must to survive. Everything is my family's legacy. To me.
An ally has been slain.
I take what I am owed. You are ever worthy. Remain centered. Inspiration is the doorway to victory. I've waited long. You cannot spoil the young. This world is unforgiving. Never stumble, never break. Through cunning, sweat, and steel, I shape my destiny. He knows.
Has been slain.
Perhaps this takes some. My children are my greatest strength. And a mother. There is no difference. The daughters are loyal to our own.
Killing spree.
Looks like I need to find my entertainment elsewhere. Tunnels. Lava in your veins. Shadows in your heart. Even pawns have a role to play. Ablaze to I've fought and won countless battles. Soul is strong, but a heart is weak. I will live to see tomorrow.
Your turret
I have known death since I was Those who underestimate me, I will prove you wrong. My place in this war. I have earned it. Bled for it. No enemy or ally can stand in my way. Battlefield is a game won with cunning and control. Outlaws. We earn our peace through conquest.
An ally has been slain. Enemy double kill.
There is
Enemy triple kill.
Everything is for my family's love. Rest is just fuel for the bloodshed. And steel, I shape my destiny. Kino, my and greatest weakness.
Ally has been slain. An enemy has been shut down.
A warrior, only fools flee. Be ill of my
Little pieces.
The daggers are loyal to our own. Deepens with I've fought and won countless battles.
An enemy has been slain.
Weaknesses can be exploited. I am mine.
Enemy killing spree.
Like the fox, we watch, listen. And like the wolf, we fight for opportunity.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
I have no fear. will regain control.
Your turret has been destroyed.
To those who underestimate me, I will...
Your team has destroyed a turret.
My place in this world, I have earned it. Bled for it. No enemy or ally will stand in my way. We earn our peace through conquest. Rest is just fuel for the bloodshed to follow. There is no greater rival. Distractions create wounds that never close. My pain worth every scar. This was your undoing. I will never stumble. Never. Truly no love. But my health. Through cunning, sweat, and steel, I shape my destiny.
Inhibitor has been destroyed. Shut down. Your turret has been destroyed. A summoner has disconnected.
Like after a certain point, that Echo
Gave up.
gave up. He tapped out.
Yeah.
Well, I think a sad one as well. Kind of a bummer to have all three sad games, but way more even of a game. We get to talk a little bit about the weight of things. Also, interesting thing is the Curtis and them came in and they were watching the game for maybe like first 15 minutes, first 10 minutes. So there'll be a stream VOD of that if you want to go look at what they have to say as well,
Yep.
which will be separate but similar, but it's kind of cool. So I thought you did a good job this game with your Q usage. I thought you did a lot better about how you were using your Q. I think you still need to work a little bit on how you use your W. Like there was one trade in particular where he got like 4 autos on you in a row as you walked away, and you left the play with your W up the whole time. And so just making sure you think of your W as like a way to just, trade, interact, reduce HP loss. And then you can play afterwards, right? So I thought your Q usage got a lot better from first to second game, but I think working on your W usage will be valuable as well. And so I think that is good. I think the W usage could use work. I think as the game went on, it felt like you're too scared of the set. I feel like there's some sort of there's mental block in this matchup. You kind of alluded to it before you started, but that's okay. I have mental block too. One of the champions I have mental block against, Urgot and Shen. I'll tell you a story, okay? First season, I wanted to end Challenger. season 13. Okay, I wanted to try and end Challenger that year. Okay, I queued up last day of the season. I was like 2 games away from Challenger. Okay, I played against Quant. He's a rank 1. He's like top 10 Urgot guy. I
I've
played
heard of
against
him,
this
yeah.
guy. I played Cassante into his Urgot 5 games in a row, and he just every single time I just could not I could not get the best of him in any lane, right? He was just winning every lane, and so ever since then I just have mental block against this Urgot champ. They scare me, right? He remembers it too. That's the crazy thing. I had a conversation with him about it like a month ago, and he was like, "Yeah, I remember it. You're Cassante." I was like, "Dude, he's crushing dreams." So all that aside, it's okay to have mental block. Everyone will have mental block in these champions, but it's important to understand that these characters can't do anything more than what they're capable of, okay? And so playing around that and learning what these champions are capable of is very important, okay? So it feels like in this matchup, you had a good idea of how you need to play first few levels, and you're playing scared. But it felt like the whole game you kept playing scared, right? It didn't feel like, the more I watched, it felt like you didn't know how to play the matchup, but you're just scared of him. Like that mental block was stopping you, right? So I want to establish, timers where it's good to fight, like how to fight, these types of things. Because there were a lot of good timers where you had an advantage situation against him, but then you just kept clicking back instead of forward after a certain point. And that's what we need to work on, right? So hopefully, when it uploads, I'll point out some of those key moments.
Yep.
I think, so 1, I want to look at the matchup. I thought that was very important. 2, this is an example, let's talk about the mid game, okay? I want to talk about mid game as well. But this is an example of a game where neither of your towers fall, okay? But mid game has started, okay? So mid game doesn't always start when the tower falls. Sometimes mid game will start anyways. And you need to keep this in mind because that 3rd dragon fight is very important. You don't want to give them soul for free, right? Soul is just so strong. Are you aware of how strong soul is? Like let's talk. Do you know what the win rate is if you have soul? Let's just say like.
I mean, my guess would be like 65% probably.
Yeah. So imagine like they get 4 dragons in a row. Say 4 dragons, they get soul, right? So obviously, if you get soul, you're probably winning, right? You won 4 dragons, right? So you're winning. So maybe the win rate's going to be pretty high, right? Yeah, it's not 65. It's more like 85, right? So I brought this up recently actually with another student, and dragons are extremely strong. It's so extremely strong. So I typically use dragons as like the anchor of how to be somewhere and be strong for that fight and show up on time. Right? It's a very good skill to have because when you learn, okay, dragons are somewhere that have a timer that I need to go. I need to be there at this time. I want to be strong at this time. I want to have my ulti. I want to have my gold spin. I want to have my item, right? And the reward is this, right? You get the dragon, so you get 87% win rate. Now, obviously, when people are getting soul, they're typically winning the game, so it's going to be skewed upwards, but it's still a lot of gold, right? You can see Cloud Soul. If you have Cloud Soul, 9 out of 10 games you have Cloud Soul, you should win. That's a crazy stat if you think about it. If you played 100 games and you did Cloud Soul in every game, you should win 91 of them. Like, think about how many games that is that you're winning versus losing, right?
Yep.
So when you hopefully can kind of see how strong these are, each individual dragon, the stats, on top of, actually completing the soul, you can see even just 3 drakes killed. Look at the win rate, right? They're typically gravitating around, if you get 3 drakes on your team, over 65% alone, up to 77. So all this to say is dragons are very important. And I think overall, I was happy this game with how much you were communicating to your team some ideas of what you wanted to do. But now we need to, this is the example of what I was talking about. We need to work on what you think about the game, right?
Yeah.
We need to contextualize some things, okay? So first of all, mid-game. Going back to that second point, mid-game. Mid-game, we talked in the first session about, it's all about the push move, right? Push, move, / push, split, right? Ambessa is mostly, she's going to move to plays. So you need to ask yourself, even if mid-game, quote unquote, like hasn't started, maybe you haven't broken the tower, the game is still going on. So when it's really the time for mid-game to happen, and you have this option to go to the dragon, right? Maybe he gets the tower, and you get the dragon. You need to ask yourself, is it worth it, right? You need to be able to assess, okay, what is the trade-off? Can I push the wave and then TP down there? And then win the fight and then get back before he takes tower? Can I push the wave, recall, go to the dragon, and then TP back to defend the tower, right? These are some of the options you have in situations like that third dragon. Okay, so for mid game, I want you to, one, prioritize dragons more. I mean, dragons are extremely powerful, right? And understanding that those things, the souls especially, right? Denying soul or soul point is important. Okay, you should at the very least, I want you to be thinking about more dragons more, but you should clearly understand that soul and soul point in a game are pivotal fights that you need to take. Now, sometimes you can tell me there's going to be a better time to fight. For example, in that soul fight, the fourth dragon of the game, you were 300 gold away from Death Dance, right? And you wanted a recall for it. You kept trying to get your gold, and I was watching it happen. But and if you are 100% going to lose the fight no matter what, then yeah, you can just give soul. But the reality is that giving them soul, we've just established, is like it makes it so you have a 10% win rate basically, right? If they get soul, on average. Now, obviously, there's a lot of nuance. Some souls better on some champs. Sometimes you get like, I don't know, Ocean Soul, but everyone's a burst champion, so Ocean Soul does nothing. Regardless, right? The idea is that you don't want to just give soul over for free. Okay, you want to fight for it, and the idea is that if you're not always sure if you're gonna be able to be strong enough at that soul fight, right? Like that Death Dance. So making sure you're also contesting soul point is really valuable. Now, sometimes, for example, it would be okay to give up that third dragon. You have two dragons, they have one dragon, who cares? Or I guess you both have one dragon, and then they get the second dragon, which is the third of the game. That's fine. It's just their second dragon. But when they get soul point dragon for free and you didn't even try to influence it, you're not really capitalizing on an opportunity to maximize your influence over the outcome of the game, right? You kind of, like, for a long time, it felt like in this game, you were 1v1ing the set while clicking back the whole time. And then when mid-game started and the team was moving around, you just kept clicking back and you didn't try your best to get involved, right? So the big takeaway is raising that involvement in the game. And so hopefully, as we look at the VOD, we're going to be able to, one, raise involvement by improving our matchup understanding, right? That was a thing that I want to look at, and pointing out those details to you, as well as raising our understanding of what things we need to do in the mid-game, the trade-offs of them, and the options we have. And I would say these are going to be some of the big things to look at, and just in general, like, higher priority. I do think also, like, I thought the way you fought was better. I thought you fought with your team better. Like, even though a lot of times you weren't fighting with your team when you could have. When you did fight with your team, I thought you fought pretty well. Like, you found pretty good ultis. You had, like, clear ideas of, okay, like, Mordekaiser's in Death Realm. We're going to play around when he pops out. I thought you did a good job with that, like, sticking with the unit, which is what we talked about from the second game. So I thought that was really good. And like I said, I thought the Q usage was good. So yeah, I think there's definitely good stuff to look at. But yeah, higher priority on influencing the game and understanding that sometimes as a top laner, you have to lose something to gain something, right? You are the odd man out, right? When you're playing top lane, the rest of the game is playing a 4v4 typically, right? They're playing jungle support or roaming together. They're playing on the same side of the map. ADCs are pushing mid and moving to their mid laner a lot of time. But so they're playing a 4v4 and you are playing a 1v1 against the enemy top laner, right? So the way you win games is by breaking out of this mold, by making it a 5v4, by making it a 4v3 for your team and making it a 1v2 for you, right? Finding ways to break this dynamic is how you be the difference maker, right? And it felt like this game, you were never pushing the envelope, pushing the game to break this. And I mean, your team was just kind of losing 4v4, so if you don't do it and your team's losing 4v4, you just kind of like lose peacefully. I don't know if you know the Dardoch clip, but it's like, just pick me whatever, let's lose in peace.
No.
Yeah, so it felt like you were just like you were content with just like watching the game happen. So I want to work on, establishing better matchup understanding, better mid game, so we don't just watch, and then feeling the urgency to do this. Right, I want you to feel like wow, this game is like close. I want to find ways to get involved, like make something happen that's good for the team. So hopefully we can do that and have.
I don't know. That Shyvana just fucking felt unkillable.
Yeah, there was one fight where you were running away and you were like walking past Grompwall and she queued you for 500 true damage. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
You were like 20%, 25% HP and she just one-shot you. I was like, holy. Yeah, she was doing a lot of damage and she was really tanky. Yeah. But also, I'm not sure exactly the extent of it now, but you know what? Let's go read Shyvana passive, right?
Yeah, she
Point
gets
takedown.
tankier. Yeah,
Yeah.
the longer the
good
game
stack.
goes.
Yeah. So her passive makes her tankier. It used to be just dragons, but I guess dragons now are only a small part of it.
Yeah, it's everything.
Epic monsters give her 1 armor, so it's not a big deal. I thought it was honestly going to be more. I thought it was going to be more like 10 stacks or something, or 15. Then the dragons would be more meaningful. But regardless, yeah. So I would say these are some of the principles we're looking at. in this-
Crazy
in
though.
this
Like,
review.
I mean, I know the Talia was inting that game, but like, there's like a 400 LP difference between my mid laner and top, like my mid laners. Like,
Yeah, and that happens. Like honestly, like no matter. I mean, I will say I feel like that's a kind of a byproduct of the OCE server. Like you'll have less players, so even at your rank, typically on like a different server, you might have like tighter queues. But I will say that that issue will happen eventually, no matter where you play.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like even like Masters, which I wouldn't say is like peak Apex. We can look at some of like my game. I had one game today that I played against this Garen, and he's Diamond 2, right? And I'm 200 LP. So there's 400 LP between me and him. And then 2 games later, I play against the Lulu top, and he's 1200 LP. So now this guy's 900 LP higher than me, right? So and obviously like that's my LP. Like I ended challenger. Like I'm comfortable playing against this guy. I made a lot of good stuff happen this game. But you can see like there's a really big difference between even Masters, which there's a lot of people in Masters now, so you can kind of see happens, right? Never goes
Yeah.
away. And if in fact like as you climb higher, that problem will just get worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me see if it's uploaded yet. Should probably be done here soon.
And yeah,
Yeah. And
I would
chill.
say Australian internet, but it's Starlink, so
Yeah. You can blame America.
yeah,
American
yeah.
internet. Okay, so yeah, hopefully, I'll point out some of the pointers, of where these things were. Actually, wait, Starlink, by the way, I just caught that. What ping do you play on? Do you have ping problems?
30, like between 30 and 40. No ping problems.
That's not bad. That's
Nah.
actually pretty good.
Like if
Did
I
you-
play on Australian internet, it's like 50 ping, so 50, 60, sometimes
Wow,
80.
it's lower ping.
Yeah.
I'm actually impressed. I have fiber with AT&T, and I've been
Yeah.
adverse to getting on Starlink because I'm worried about higher latency. Do you use Ethernet, or is that
Yeah,
even?
yeah.
Is that even?
If I don't
Oh,
use
I see.
Ethernet though, there's no difference if I'm being honest.
Oh, okay. That's good.
The router is right next to my computer, but yeah, I don't feel the
Yeah,
difference if
yeah.
I'm on Wi-Fi.
All right. Yeah, so we can get into this. So, for example, like here, I thought you did a much better job. You can see this guy's walking into you because you're hitting the minion, right? He's like, it's just like the Jax game, but instead you held your Q, you made it easier for you to hit it. He feels pressure to walk into you and make something happen, and then you just double Q, you walk it off, right? And I thought this was really good. This is a really good evolution of how you're using your Q, right? Afterwards, you're kind of fighting for the push, but here, this is the W I was talking about, right? Here, you could, if you're really good, the ideal thing is you W his E, but it's pretty hard. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's okay. But then at this point, just W, do a little short dash, and then walk away. Walk away. Okay? Because watch what happens. You eat those 2 autos, and then you turn around, you auto again. You eat these 2 autos, and then you eat another auto, right? But you could have W'd any of those things of damage. You see, you see how you get 0 value out of your W? So not only did you do no damage with your W, but you also lost more HP than you could have shielded someone with it, right? So you could be like plus 100 and him minus 50, right? Something like that, right? Which would be pretty good. And maybe minus 70 because it would have made you have a passive auto. So these are just being more mindful about your W usage. So because watch what happens afterwards, right? I want to point this out. You don't need your W after this trade, because after you W back, like after you walk this off, you don't walk up and interact with him anyways. You don't even need your W. Look what's happening. You don't even need your W right now. You're just CSing, right? Now you can maybe argue, oh, he would walk at me if I didn't have my W. Okay, who cares? You're still getting all the XP from the minions, right? You're not losing. You're not like massively losing. So it's not, being more willing to do more. I thought that here, like this is an example of like, you kind of let him get too close with the jousting, but because you used your W proficiently, right? You use it to eat the thing. At the very least, this is a very good situation for him, ideally, right? First of all, he gets too close to you, so you don't get your sweet spot. That's great for him. Secondly, he's able to hit E and confirm true damage W. But because you're retaliating properly, using your W, backdashing the best you can, it really doesn't go that bad for you, right? Like, it's obviously not good, but you can kind of see, like, there's so much value in using your W well here. I also think here, I was thinking here when I was watching this would be a great gank timer,
Yeah.
right? But sometimes the junglers might not see that, so just ping them, Think of your junglers as a tool, okay? When they're on your side, you can use them to your advantage. And when they're not on your side, you need to wait, right? Be patient. I thought you did a good job in general when, your jungler was away from you. I thought you were playing very defensively, very well. But I do feel like that's kind of a byproduct of you just playing too safe against set overall, right? So it's kind of like, were you playing safe because jungle was on the other side and you were, weak-sided? Or were you playing safe because you were scared of set all game, right? So I kind of want to dissect that and make sure that's not the only reason. So here, obviously, this was pretty unfortunate. I saw the instant mute. I thought it was kind of funny. But, yeah. What I like to think is, your rights are revoked. You revoked this Mordekaiser's rights to communication with you after this play.
I don't know. I do it every game when that happens to something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I get it. He gets red buff now too. So definitely gonna be a tough situation here. You're just kind of playing it out. I thought this was all pretty good. I thought you had a really good sequence of how you're using your Q, right? Using your Q to space him very well. I thought this turn you did a very good job. And you got the crash, and when we do, we base. I do think that this TP is a little scary.
Yeah, I thought that on the way in. I was like, he's 6. I was like spamming W as I was coming in.
But here, I thought, like, here's an example. You lead immediately with your W. You need to be doing this more, right? Like, when he's on top of you, you need to be using your W more. Now, here it feels like, I don't want to interact with him, right? But even when you are interacting with him, you can still use that W, right? So, I feel like W usage, big deal. You W, E away, right? But now you have to understand, now, when you auto E, this guy has no E anymore, right? So you can walk up into him, right? Don't be scared. He doesn't have E still. He still doesn't have E, right? Because remember, he E'd, his E cooldown is higher than your E, right? Okay, so he's no ability haste. And let's just go confirm this, right? So set, and let's go look. So your E is a 14-second cooldown, and then his E is a 16-second cooldown, right? So you can kind of like gauge how scared you need to be as the lane progresses by looking at your abilities, right? I'm not sure if you're doing this, but you know how you look at the mini map to look at where their wave is by looking at your wave because they're mirrored?
Yep.
You can look at your abilities that you use when they're using abilities to kind of gauge, okay, let's say this was like, I don't know, Renekton, okay? Renekton Q is 7 seconds, okay? And let's say he Qs when you E. Okay, that means that when your E is basically at 7 seconds on the timer, when this has 7, his Q is up, right? So you can use it as a metric to determine how scared you need to be, or how not scared you need to be, right?
Yeah.
To kind of, so you don't need to immediately know, all right, like, I know that this cooldown is 16 seconds, and I know I have 16, 15, 14. You don't need to, like, count down. And it really doesn't even need to be that specific. You just need to know, okay, like, we use it at the same time. Our abilities are kind of the same cooldown, so I'm safe to walk up now. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so here, like, you're really scared, right? Like, here you could be walking into him. He's clicking like he owns the show, and it feels like you're scared, right? The whole lane. But you don't need to be as scared. And I think a lot of that comes from mental block. I thought this was good, right? This is a good QQ, right? But now, also, I thought this was a great gank angle. Like, I think that you need to ping this gank every time, because this is such a freak. Look at where this guy is, and look at where your Mordekaiser is, and tell me why this Mordekaiser isn't right here, right now. Like, right here. He could have curved around and been there. And obviously you could say, oh, that's my jungler's job. But it's a little bit your job too to communicate these angles. He doesn't, the Mordekaiser might not know if this is warded or not, right? It's not. The set goes to ward it later, right? When the Mordekaiser here, he goes and wards the brush now. But imagine if y'all just coordinated that better, right? This is kind of what I mean. It's like your jungle's on your side, use him as a tool, right? Fight this guy to the death. You could go to 10% HP, and set could be 20% HP, no ult, no W, no E, no flash. And then Mordekaiser will just get a free kill. You'll push the wave together, and then you're happy, right? Even if you don't get the gold from the kill, you get the assist, you get the wave, you get, you see what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
here you're just not it feels like you're being a passenger in the game when you could be directing this part of the game. And this is a great opportunity for you to do so. So, yeah. Even here, I think you probably could make it harder for him, right? Obviously, you know, he's level 7, it's a little scary, but like he just like crashes away for free. He just missed his E. I'm running into him. I'm literally clicking in. He's auditing this minion. No, I'm Eing forward right now. I'm trying to get my Q2. I'm gonna look to, you know, chase him. Maybe like kite him up, like kite up away from him, wait for my second ability of rotations, wait for the cooldowns, whatever, and then look to ult him and kill him. Something like that, right? Like
Yeah.
I would be okay with that. But you can see, like on this timer when the wave is bouncing into you, and he is misplaying his abilities, you can punish him. You could even have looked to froze the wave there, right? So hopefully you can see there's a lot of angles. One with, you know, tracking his cooldowns, using your jungler, and holding the wave to punish him more. So then you decide, okay, I'm gonna push the wave. You know, he recalled. I'm okay with this. This is an okay adaptation. You realize he's base, you push, you walk back. I'm happy with this. Now though, he's full HP, right? So you can't really fight him. It's not easy to stop him. So you come to the grubs. I'm much happier with this. Here, I thought you did a really good job of, you know, ulti. I think you could have flashed this W, but I don't hate it. Maybe like if you want to play for the
I
kill,
was just worried she would like flash over the wall, so I was like, if I can hold it, yeah.
Yeah. And I get that. So I think it's honestly okay. If you know she has no flash, then you can just flash there. But even still, this cube from the Bard is very nice. You just W, E over, very good. So I like this, right? Now you have no ult, you have no flash. Now I'm fine with you chilling, right? It's fine to kind of just be a little more of a passer. Also, I just want to say, this is exactly how, like you can see, you could have been taking these types of trades for a long time, right? Like look at this is a winning trade for you, right? And now your cooldowns are shorter as well, so you have more pressure and you can freeze. So what's good here, okay, is one, you don't give him the stun, right? So you're playing around E stun, so you're making sure there's nothing, you know, on the opposite side of him when he stuns you. And then the second thing is you're playing close to him, right? When you're dashing around, you're dashing close, which gives you control over making it easy to dodge his W, right? It's pretty nice to play close to the set sometimes, where you're kind of playing the spacing game, you're playing with your shield as well, but at the same time, you're sticking close to him to dodge the W. You see what I mean? Where it's like, spacing game, not too close, where he's getting a bunch of free autos, but still good enough. So here, you can kind of see like these trades are going really well for you. The problem here is what happens. We don't respect the E, right? This happens, and then boom, W, dead. So
yeah, I was just surprised how much damage he did without the W. I guess
yeah, it's just because he has Conquer stacked, and it's pretty high grit, right? Having 143 AD, quite a lot from that Conquer full stack. So then you ping. I like this ping. I feel like this is kind of an example of you directing your team what to do. So in general, I feel like in this lane, I feel like early game, you do have to lose some CS, right? That's natural. But there were a lot of times where you could have, pushed the envelope more, pressured him harder, and then this death's kind of a bummer. It's in this situation, as long as you don't get stunned by his E, you can't die, right? Like, there's no way you can die. The only way this play goes bad for you is if you die, and the only way you can die is if you get stunned, right? So all you need to do is just kind of angle yourself away from the minions. Ideally, you angle yourself where he can't also ulti you away, right? Like ulti himself to safety. So then you come back. You're kind of playing. Now I'm thinking you're playing for your Eclipse Spike. So here, here is an example where this guy is too far up. Like this is not allowed, which is good. I like that you punish him. But here, for example, like this click back. Like what are we scared of? You're under your tower. He has no W.
I don't know. I got a bit of PTSD after he just nuked me in that last fight.
Yeah. So just understanding, like, his W is a really high cooldown, and you need to be, and his E is too, and you need to punish him more, right? And it can be scary sometimes, right? Especially if he has both up. That's why you want to avoid interacting with him when he does. But you can see, like, there's a lot of times. Like here, for example, why are you E? Why are we running away, right? Like here, he has no E. Yeah, he has the W. Does he even have the W? Let's just make sure. Walks around. Yeah, you get nice Qs. These are good Qs. Like here, for example, I would be so okay if you're like he's 40% HP. Yeah, he has W still, but there's ways for you to navigate around it, right? Like if you're E still, like, and just in general, like, you know, pushing a little more. Here, I thought this was good. You know, unfortunately, you're not able to get the kill because his jungler kind of babysits him here, but your team's able to do a lot with the fact that you're, you know, you pull the Shyvana top, you pull this wave, you kind of hold it. This is good. I thought this was good. You know, so here, let's talk about trades, right? I think that this situation is really good, right? Watch what happens. So he walks up to try and crash the wave. You say, no, you're not allowed to do that. I'm going to proc my Eclipse on you because you have no minions to stun me. Okay, you get stunned. That's okay. So what do? You W. You can literally eat the whole true damage W at this point, you know, medium-sized W with your W, right? So you eat the whole thing and you still get a good trade. You eat literally everything right now and it's still good for you. You ate full W, full E, full autos, but you play with your abilities well, right? So hopefully you can kind of see, if you just play around your abilities well, you can be playing more aggressive, right? Because this is picture perfect for what Set wants to do with his kit. And he still lost more HP than you. And you have, you know, you're going to heal from your, when you hit him more. So this is good, right? Like, you're clicking in. But here, you like sticking on it, right? So playing with your abilities. And I feel like this kind of, I think maybe you S-keyed or something happened. Like something weird kind of happens with your dash here. But yeah, just like eating away here. Really good. Yeah, and then the lane kind of goes on. Here he's able to get this. You see, this is much better, right? Obviously, he flashes and he's able to kill you. But at the very least, I like that you're using your W, right? Here you get too close when he has both, right? And the only reason why you're able to die here is because you took so much damage previously.
Yeah.
But you can kind of see, like, there are times when you need to be scared and there are times where you don't need to be scared. And the times that you need to be scared are when, you know, you're at like around 70% HP or lower. He has all of his abilities. But in any other situation, you don't need to be as scared in the 1v1, right? Here he just plays it pretty well. Obviously, you're a little low. You trade 1 for 1. That's okay. You come back, right? And now at this point, again, what happens is you're holding the wave. I think here, you're just losing a lot of HP to the minions. You don't really need to hold. But also, look for situations where you can trade and you can just proc your Eclipse and leave. So, for example, one thing I like to do against champions like this, I like to pull the trigger, is... So Set and Urgot, I like doing this against, okay? Is they want to, when you dash in, slam their E, right? And stun you, okay? So what I like to do is I like to E dash into them and then immediately Q1 and dash away. And I kind of bait the E, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you need to be careful when you're doing it. You don't want to give them a free stun. But for example, here, when you're holding this wave, you could look to do something like that, right? Like here, he's walking in. Boom. E dash in right now. Q1 dash out. Proc your Eclipse. If he presses W, what do? We press W as well. And then, what do? He pressed W. I'm going to dash in, throw my Q2 on him. Get some damage on the exit, right? Don't let him just leave for free, right? So you can see here, the problem is that now, you know, I mean, we've lost a little bit of HP. It's not too big of a deal. But we're just not really making anything happen, right? And it feels like, you know, it's been happening all game, right? Here, though, he gets the free E. And you don't have Q anymore, so you lose some of your pressure. I like that you're using your W away. You can kind of see, like, in general, this whole time we've just been clicking back. And here, for example, I thought this was good, right? You punished him really heavily for him walking up here. But then now we're scared, right? He's 50% HP and we're full HP and we have every ability, but we're scared, right? So, I think you just need to be a little less scared sometimes when you have all your conditions and like full HP, full abilities, all this. I thought this was good. Like, this is a good thing. But one thing I want to talk about here on this timer, okay? This is soul point, okay? Kind of like leaving early. And this is what I was alluding to earlier when I said mid-game starts even if you're not, if the towers aren't taken, okay? You should know that no matter what happens, okay, you have they have 2 dragons, you have 0, okay? We know this. So, this is soul point for them. And you should try to get involved in this, right? If that means basing right now and looking to run bot, you can do that. Go influence the game, right? Go do something with the game, right? Because here the whole time when you watch it back through, you're just clicking back, right? You're just clicking back the whole lane. So I would rather you just give the tower and then go fight anyways. If you're gonna lose slowly, you might as well just go and try to help your team. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that can be a good learning even in matchups where you should win and you've lost anyways. You can just take a timer to go show up somewhere and then TP back, right? But here they get the dragon, they get the soul point afterwards, and it feels pretty bad, right? Now if they get soul, 87% win rate, right? That's what we saw. So now you know I really need to fight the soul, but am I gonna have Death Dance for it? Probably not, right? Definitely not, right? So here, you're able to get the situation where your ult goes wide, and this is dragon. This is soul. So here, like I'm fine. I want you to hit this dragon. Their Shyvana, their dragon is dead. So just get this dragon at all costs, at any cost. You can die. Mordekaiser can die. Get this dragon, right? Deny them soul. Buy yourself 5 more minutes. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so generally as a top laner, you can't influence the second dragon. Sometimes the second dragon will get really delayed, and that's okay. But understanding that if they have soul point off a dragon, then trying to do your best to get involved, even if it means losing a top tower, is fine. Here, I thought, like, for example, the way you fought it was pretty okay. Like, you come from a flank, you fight, you ult the Talia, you fight your team, and this is the Q that one-shots you.
Yeah.
I thought it was crazy. But, yeah, it does literally 20% of your HP. But then after this point, after they get sold, the game is just so hard, right? We saw the win rate. Like, you should win this type of game 1 out of every 10 times you're in this position, statistically, right? That's like a kind of a gross oversimplification, but that's basically what it is, right? So now the games are really hard no matter what you do. What are we looking for? We're still kind of looking for the same things. We're still looking for pushes and moves, right? But ideally, like for example, this I thought was a good fight. You fought with your team, you fought with the Mordekaiser, you got a good nice ulti along the wall. This is really good, right? They kill the Shyvana, they get the big shutdown. I mean, this is all good, right? And now Elder spawning, right? We want your DD. And so I would say here you end up pinging them away, right? You don't want to fight. I felt like you end up dying here afterwards because of you go on the Nami. I felt like it was kind of akin to the death in the previous game where maybe you were just like tapped out of the game, right? You weren't like fully locked in anymore. So I don't blame you, but I would say the big things for you to take away from this game is one, I think you did a good job of communicating to your team. For example, telling the bard to push, telling your team you don't want to play for dragons. But one, I hope you see now the importance of dragons. So how important are dragons? Okay. And the next thing that I want you to take away is some of the matchup stuff. Understanding, our drags is a big takeaway from this one, and then working on your game view. Trading the tower for the dragon is worth in this situation. But if you have three dragons, and they're giving it up, do you need to go to the dragon fight and give up your tower? No, because you're winning. You're gonna get the dragon no matter what. You don't need to go there, right? So understanding when moving to something is the difference maker or not is a skill you need to work on. But hopefully now you can see why you should move because of how important dragons are, and how to move, aka like killing the wave, immediately resetting, going there and TPing back up after the play ends, or vice versa. Just actively looking at the dragon play and how to identify when it's important. Okay, how many dragons do I have? So this is all shaping your game view and how to influence it. And then thirdly, something to work on, which I thought you did a good job game over game, was your Q usage. I thought you did a much better job this game with how you're using your Q. But I think you also need to go work on your W usage as well. I think that'll be pretty easy to implement. You're just not using it enough, to be honest. Just use it and then respect the 5 or 10 or whatever second time window it is where you don't have it anymore. That's okay, but just use it, right? You keep getting in bad positions in your lanes because you're not using your W. But if you would use your W, yeah, you would have to click back a little bit, but you'd be in a better position overall, right? So Q usage, good. W usage, going to be good, right? We're going to work on that. So I think these are some of the biggest takeaways for you. And then I think that also part of this Q usage, W usage thing is just playing a little more aware, playing more around when the enemy champion has no abilities, right? So for learning objective, these are kind of lane, these are kind of mid-game, mid/early. So for this, I think another takeaway, it's like I was saying, is just play around their cooldowns, right? Find a way. It feels like there's a lot of times where they have no cooldowns and you're scared of them, but you don't need to be, right? Especially against champions that are mental block characters. What I recommend is just go look
Yep.
at the cooldowns and stuff like that. But I think these are good things to work on as well as all the other stuff we talked about. Do you have any questions or anything?
No, not off the top of my head at least. If I do, I might DM you. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Open. Yeah, sorry about the losses, but hopefully you can see there's a lot of good learning.
Yeah.
We talked about mid-game principles. A big thing, like early game, trading, Q usage, W usage, tracking their cooldowns, jungle tracking, warding that out. That's what we talked about. Mid-game, what we talked about is the push move principle, when we need to push and move, why we need to push and move, and establishing that game view and communicating it to our team. That's what we worked on. The learning objectives for your mid-game.
Yep.
So yeah.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess I'll see you same time tomorrow.
Yeah. See you same
Cool.
time tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.